From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Right now on the Afternoon Edition, San Jose police searching for the driver in a fiery crash that left one person dead. Good afternoon, I'm Elizabeth Cook. We'll have more on that in just a second, but first some really weird June weather in the Bay Area to tell you about. Taking a live look outside, conditions are pretty calm now, but believe it or not, there's a chance for thunderstorms over the next 2 days. That's why we have declared today a first alert weather day. Darren Peck is standing by with a look at what to expect next couple of days. Darren?
The chances on this are low, Liz, but since it's June and we don't, it's rare to get rain, let alone any thunderstorms. We put a first alert status on today and tomorrow just to draw your attention to this. And here's one way to kind of help put some context on the likelihood of this. This the next 2 days. This morning's already done, and we didn't expect anything. And this afternoon, it's only about a 20% chance. Tomorrow morning, it goes up to a 30% chance. So that's kind of a quick snapshot takeaway on the likelihood of this. If you look at First Alert Doppler, we did have thunderstorms in the Sierra this morning. We're likely going to see plenty more of that in the Sierra as we have for the past 2 days. But what's different about the next 2 days is an added impulse of energy coming over California, which will help pull some of those thunderstorms out of the Sierra and perhaps develop them over the rest of the state, the Bay Area included in that chance. We're going to go into that in more detail in the complete First Alert forecast, and we'll watch that high-resolution forecast again in more detail. Before we do that, the other weather is it's going to be cooler today, and it's going to stay cooler for the rest of the week. It's 69 degrees in San Jose now, and when we look at the daytime high, we're going to use San Jose as the example here. We're only going to top out like in the mid-70s, and that's already noticeably different from where we were for much of the weekend. We had parts of the Bay Area that were getting up to 90 degrees. Nobody's doing that anymore because we're going right back down to average now for daytime highs. And if you look at San Jose again as our example, there's our 2 days with a chance of thunderstorms. That ends Wednesday, but the temperatures stay right here. I'll see you with the rest of this forecast coming up in just a bit. Liz, back to you.
Darren, thanks so much. Now to a developing story out of San Jose. Police say a passenger died when the car they were in crashed into a tree and then caught fire. Now we are learning that car was reported stolen. Police say the driver of that car fled the scene. This all happened on Meridian Avenue in South San Jose. We spoke to someone who lives in the area who said the street has become dangerous in recent years.
I'd kind of rather see city do something about it. Maybe a low speed bumps, so people they realize, okay, well they can race over here.
Police, meanwhile, still searching for the driver who left the scene. This is the 19th traffic death this year in San Jose. Gun violence has touched almost every part of this country. And so far in 2023, there have been more mass shootings than days of the year. Think about that. The nonprofit Gun Violence Archive reporting 275 cases. And a recent CBS News poll shows 77% of parents are at least somewhat concerned about gun violence. That's up from 72% at the same time last year. And that's what's got hundreds of people dressed in orange out on the Golden Gate Bridge over the weekend, demanding something has to change. John Ramos has the story.
The Golden Gate Bridge is San Francisco's most iconic landmark, and a group called Moms Demand Action has adopted its color as inspiration for their 10-year fight against gun violence. Hundreds of supporters gathered at the bridge for the Wear Orange March that has become an annual event.
I'm so happy that you're here, wanting to take action with us. Showing up means so much to our survivors.
It means a lot to see every single one of you guys' faces.
One of those survivors is Arthur Renowitsky. He was shot and paralyzed in a random robbery in San Francisco in 2007, and 15 years later, the bullet is still inside him.
Go to the hospital, that bullet is there. Or when I get a checkup, that bullet is still there. That's a constant reminder that, gun violence is real every single day, and it can happen to anybody.
It happened to Susan Bole when she was just 11 years old. These days, the gunshot survivor has become an advocate for laws that limit who can purchase a firearm.
It's out of control. Mental health is an issue, and it's absolutely not the issue. It's the guns.
With that, the march across the windswept bridge began. It's probably not the kind of thing that would change the mind of a gun rights advocate, but Shel Burham says it's a show of the growing support. He says what's really changing people's minds is the carnage from the mass shootings that are happening so often all across the nation.
Oh, it's gotten way out of control, and it's hard to turn the tide, but I think if enough people kind of just start thinking about it rationally, we'll make the new laws.
Out of control. It's a common expression people use to describe the level of gun violence in America these days. Gun rights advocates say the issue is mental illness. Those who want to make guns harder to get believe if you can't control the intentions of angry people, you should at least limit their power to inflict misery on others.
Now, according to Giffords Law Center, California ranks #1 in the country when it comes to strict gun laws. The number of gun deaths per 100,000 went down from 9.5 to 8.5 between 2005 and 2020. Now, states like Florida and Texas both saw the number of gun deaths go up during that span. And more gun laws could be on the way as well. There's a measure before the legislature that would make it more difficult for convicted criminals to own guns. Another would prevent law enforcement or other government agencies from reselling seized guns and ammo. A new survey shows teachers are divided on how to handle gun violence. The Rand Corporation found 1 in 5 teachers say they would be interested in carrying a gun to school. The survey found 20% of teachers believe carrying a gun would make schools safer. 54% said the exact opposite. Maybe more sobering of the stat, 26% feel either way it won't make a difference.
Hope, love, pride. Proudly presented by Pet Food Express and Broadway San Jose.
The pride flag going up at San Francisco County Jail this morning. The 3rd annual event, the San Bruno facility, included the sheriff's office, the police department, and the fire department. And we've seen a lot of anti-LGBTQ+ legislation introduced across the country. 338 of the 491 bills have either passed or are still being considered, with a lot of focus being put toward trying to stop or limit drag shows. But as Lynn Ramirez shows us, performers and their patrons in San Jose are going stronger than ever.
Colorful and flamboyant, full of energy and fun. This is the Drag Brunch, which is held once a month at the Sofa Market in downtown San Jose. It attracts performers from throughout the Bay Area, including San Jose's own Alpha Andromeda, who also serves as the MC.
It's fantastic being able to perform for an audience that keeps coming back.
The event is put on by Silicon Valley Pride and attracts a boisterous crowd of mostly LGBTQ folks and supporters. But while some places around the country are banning drag shows and shielding children from it, several families brought their kids to this show, including Lonnie Bassett, who does social media for Silicon Valley Pride.
Being able to take my daughter, who is in there, who loves seeing drag queens, and she thinks this is the most fun thing to do on the planet, and just expressing our love for life.
Marissa and Jonas Gonzalez consider the Drag Brunch their family activity. 18-year-old Jonas is attracted to the drag community and could be a future performer, and she enjoys having the support of her mom.
Being in this sort of scene, it helps me get used to the waters.
But even during the lighthearted performance, there were a few moments to address some serious concerns.
This year, I think the focus should be on queer and trans people are in danger.
The Bay Area is generally more accepting, but even here, performers say they do have to be cautious of the ever-present potential for a backlash.
It is a lot to be a drag performer in 2023, where you have legislation being passed that is anti-drag, that prohibits drag performers from performing in certain states.
Performers say this is considered a safe space and the shows will go on. It may not be the same everywhere, but for this audience, that's entertainment.
And all month long, we'll be bringing you special Pride stories from around the Bay Area. To see the entire collection, just head to our website, KPIX.com, or watch us streaming on the CBS News Bay Area app.